There's a starting point there. Let's transition a little bit to Mayflower. You talked to Exxon back in May about perhaps moving the Pegasus pipeline. Still don't know what caused the oil spill, what caused the rupture. Have you heard from Exxon? Is that line going to move?
Yes. In fact, I've spoke with them yesterday and last week. My office, we got a letter about a week and a half ago from the Department of Transportation. So this is an active issue. My staff and I have been actively reaching out to the other people, the other stakeholders, the county judge's office, Central Arkansas Water. And there's several things going on here. First, you have the Mayflower issue, and then you have the issue of moving the pipeline.
Do you think the pipe moves?
It's going to be a long fight, and we're going to look at every option we've got to get it moved. And this will be a collective effort. But let me say this too. I think that we did get some documents from PHMSA. That's the regulatory agency under the Department of Transportation, and those records sort of indicate what the inspection history is with a lot of data. The problem is the data is extraordinarily technical,
right?
And so we are getting a briefing to help us interpret this data, so this is an ongoing deal, and we just got to keep pushing. I talk regularly with some of the folks who were evacuated, and talked to one about 3 days ago. He and I stay in pretty close contact, and so we're working through some issues. One of the issues, I'll be real upfront with you about, one of the issues I've heard is that, look, they got stipends or they got money from Exxon for their inconvenience and what have you. I think some of them received $10,000 for their trouble and displacement and inconvenience and what have you. And the issue has come up, well, how's that going to be treated tax-wise? So we reached out to the IRS, and I think a lot of people, most of that money, the IRS wants to tax. Well, then, if you receive $10,000 and you're going to pay $3 grand taxes, you really didn't receive $10,000. So that's something I'm working through, and I certainly could introduce a bill in Ways and Means Committee. We're looking at that, but the chances of that becoming law would be slim.
We got about 30 seconds left. Let me ask you one last quick question on a different subject. Supreme Court overturns the Defense of Marriage Act. Is Congress going to seek a new version of that law, or do you think they live with the results?
I think on the federal DOMA side, I think that it's pretty clear from the opinion on that particular point. I haven't heard anybody talk about a replacement bill. I will say that if you look at the opinion, and Scalia's dissent was pretty dead on this, I thought Justice Kennedy's opinion was very muddled. But I'd like to remind folks that the state laws remain in place
for now
and unaffected.
Sure. I mean, obviously, we already had the court challenge earlier this week, so certainly this is probably an expected thing.
That's right.
Congressman Griffin, I appreciate you joining us on Capitol View.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I've been on twice.
We'll do the hat trick probably before you know it.
You couldn't get anybody else to come on.
No, come on. They're lining up outside the door.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to be back to wrap things up right after this. I'm Roby Brock alongside David Goins. You're watching Capitol View on Sunday morning on KARK.